What's up, Elite Nation? It's your boy Malik Osborne, and welcome to my Elite Talks. You could eventually crash out or crumble underneath it, you know?
I think you can easily get lost in that loneliness. How are you looking to that, last part of the season, going to the playoffs?
I told him that. That is the wildest part about it, if not the most defining moment in my career.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
Malik, what's up? You good?
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Appreciate you, taking the time to be here with us.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure.
And for the Elite Nation fans, looking to get to know you a little bit more, so
yeah.
Appreciate you. So, let's start with you, and can you introduce yourself to the people that don't really know you yet?
Of course. Hello, Elite Nation. This is Malik Osborne. I'm 27, from Matson, Illinois, and I'm out here in Germany playing for Rostov Farm.
For the people that don't really know you, you played in Florida State. You had a wonderful, college days, and before going overseas. Can you tell us how did you end up in basketball, and how did you end up, a professional basketball player?
Man, basketball kind of started with me when I was in 6th grade. I kind of was just the tall kid in school. And then everybody was like, oh yeah, you should play basketball, And so, it took a while for me to kind of come around to it. But then eventually, I was like, let me just give it a try. And started having fun with it, and realized there was a lot of room for me to grow. And I think around 8th grade is when I really started taking it serious. And at that point, one thing led to another, one growth spurt hits another growth spurt. And then I was in high school, and eventually was able to get an opportunity to go to prep school. And then when I went to prep school at Don Bosco in Crown Point, Indiana, I ended up getting 14 college offers.
Which is pretty good.
It was pretty good from starting basketball pretty late. So was very grateful for that. And then went to Rice University, had a really good year as a freshman at Rice, and then transferred to Florida State. And then that's where a lot of magic happened, A lot of history was made there. Won the first ACC championship there. And went to March Madness during the COVID years, and one thing led to another. Played summer league for the Cavs that summer on my last year at Florida State, and then got the opportunity to become a professional basketball player in Greece, and kind of just found my way after that. So here I am now in Germany for the third time.
So you had good old days during college, with Florida State. You've been some time in the summer league too. Now you're playing overseas.
Yeah.
What are the biggest adjustment you had to make? Going overseas. You started in Greece, but obviously you've been to many countries right now.
Yeah.
How did you adjust yourself? Being in a different country, different culture, and stuff like that.
Man, I would say for a lot of players out there that are thinking about going overseas, or the people who could relate to me who are playing overseas, is that the biggest adjustment was just the first year in general, with everything, with culture, language, daily routines, habits. Everything was just different, and it could vary, from places that you go. I'm pretty sure if you're coming from America and you go to Australia or something like that, the adjustment is not too big because they speak English and a lot of things are familiar. But me going to Greece, the Greek language was it was completely foreign to me. Everything was different all over the place. The language just sounded foreign to me. Going to the grocery stores, I couldn't read anything, and just kind of finding my way. But luckily I was on a team with some older guys who were willing to teach me and show me the way, as far as just how to maneuver, where to go, where to shop, where to get fresh things, where to not get not so fresh things, where to have fun, where to chill, and then just pass that knowledge down to me. So I was very fortunate in that situation. But I would just say everything. Being so far away from your family, your friends, the things that you're really used to, it was a huge adjustment. The time difference, being able to find those little time slots when to talk to your family and friends, even, for my gamers out there, being on the game, you're so used to getting online and seeing your boys on, and now you being somewhere from 7 to 10 hours ahead, you're getting online and there's probably 2 other people that are online, and by the time you're about to go to bed, then you see all your boys get on, and it's just like it gets a little irritating and frustrating at first, but like you learn to kind of find your little window to make everything work. And I mean, just like with everything, I think it just takes time. Everything took time, and over time things got better. And after that first year, which will always be the roughest year for anybody that comes overseas, over time, the second year was better than the first, and then the third year was better than the second, and now I'm in my fourth year.
So you started in Greece, but you went to France also?
I ended up going to France my third year. So I would say my first year I was in Greece, and then I went to Germany halfway through. Second year, went back to Greece, stayed there the whole year, and then third year I started off in France, and then and eventually went to Germany again. But third year I was in France. I was in Limoges. That was also another cultural adjustment. We're talking about a whole different league. We're talking about a whole different language, a whole different dynamic of people and how they operate, how they move, how they act. And I kind of, like, for me, I was just being grateful for the experience, because obviously you get to play basketball and get paid for it, but also just experience just a different culture and just see how other people are living. And I can't guarantee that you'll always like it, or you'll not like it, but just give yourself that chance to make that judgment. And so I was just grateful to have that chance to make that judgment. And then, further on in that year, some adjustments were made and pieces were moved. And then I eventually came back to Germany, where I had a really good season as well. But yeah, I was just really able, just thankful just for the opportunity, really.
And would you kind of say, it would be easier for you to be in game mode in a different country without getting a lot of stress because you're discovering a new culture or stuff like that?
For sure. I would say that the things around you may change, but what I learned through my experience is that the thing that will always stay consistent is what you do with yourself. Your routine, the things you do when you go home, the things you do before you get ready for games, the mindset you get before practices and games, all those things are controlled by you. So it doesn't matter what culture or what language you're hearing, or, what problems are going on around you. You're controlling what you can control. And at the end of the day, that's really all you can do. When it comes to this basketball business, there will be a lot of moving pieces. There will be a lot of stuff going on. But at the end of the day, once you get home and you're in your 4 walls of comfort, you control the space. You control what things move and when they move and how they move. And so that's just kind of the experience I gained with my 4 years of being professional, knowing that no matter what country I can go to, I can go anywhere and just know that things are going to be different on the outside, but on the inside, I know those are all familiar things with me, and I can have a grasp and control that.
And today, what would you say, what keeps you, grounded, when you're overseas? Is it being able to reach your family, have your support system behind you?
Yeah.
What are, the things that keeps you grounded when you are away from your home country?
I would say, just like you said, my family, family and friends back home. I would say the first year, and this I felt like was what made it so rough, was that when things were confusing and troubling and, kind of not going my way, that I was kind of shutting down and not reaching out to friends and family. And it just made the isolation seem way more darker than what it was. It made it seem way more, tougher and just almost suffocating, it just felt like I was just in a whole different universe from everybody. And so that year, I slowly started to develop on the back end that, reaching out to family, because they started reaching out to me. And then I started to realize that I felt better when I talked to other people, when I talked to people who were, familiar to me after being in an unfamiliar area for so long, So I would say just reaching out to my family, reaching out to my friends, and, even being in countries that time difference isn't too crazy. And then also eventually being fortunate enough to have friends who also play overseas, and that I could talk to them as well and play games with them and, reach out to them as well. So I would say for my overseas hoopers that tough times will happen. that's inevitable. You may run into a coach you don't like. You may run into teammates you don't like, organization you don't like. Things may shift around because everything is always moving. So you might like something at one point, and then it may not be your best friend the next moment. Don't shut down. Don't isolate yourself. Don't crawl in that hole, because it could get hard to pull yourself up out of it. And then you start questioning not only yourself, but you start questioning your love for the game. And you got to know that your love of the game is what got you here in the first place. So just reach out to that family friend, get on the game and send that party invite, that chat invite to your boy, even though he may not be playing the same game as you. And just, maybe sometimes you just need to vent, and maybe they don't respond or can't relate to you, but sometimes you just need to get that stuff out your system. You got to get that off your chest, because if you just keep going on with the season of that, just bearing that weight, you could eventually crash out or crumble underneath it.
I think you can easily get lost in that loneliness.
For sure. It's so easy. And I've seen it happen to the strongest of people, because this is not like a will of who's the strongest and who could lift more. No, this is a mental game. I think everybody has a certain type of strength when it comes to mentality. And you may think the biggest people may have the strongest mental, but they may have the weakest one. And you may think the people who have the weakest one, they may have the strongest one, they can endure a lot. And so it all comes down to mental game, because everybody has a certain skill set that can get them to overseas, but people don't realize that the part of being a professional is being able to maneuver through the mental part of it and still perform regardless, because there's going to be so much stuff that's going to get thrown at you. You might not get your money on time. You may not get all your money, you may, your minutes may get diminished, and you may feel like you're not a big contributor to the team, even though they probably told you something at the beginning of the season. At the end of the day, you got to make sure your mental is straight, and so that comes with family, friends, that comes with, maybe even just kind of going outside and just having some type of social life, Don't be in the house all the time. Even though things may be unfamiliar, go experience things. Go, if you have neighboring cities that are big, go and drive and fly over there.
Have fun.
Have fun, because at the end of the day, you're a basketball player, for sure. That's why you're there. But then you're also a human being, because the ball eventually stops rolling. And when the ball stops rolling for everybody, because it always does, it's like, okay, can you look in the mirror and recognize who you see? Do you know who you are? You know what I mean? You don't want to go there and let basketball be your complete identity, because when the ball stops rolling, then it's going to feel like your life stopped at that moment. So I encourage a lot of people to just go out there, find themselves, find things that they like to do, explore, travel, because you're already overseas. It's cheaper to go to other spots now because you're overseas. Now you don't have to spend the bag like that. Go over there and experience different countries. Don't be afraid. Don't wait on nobody. And just go and just get a fresh, different perspective. So when it's all said and done, you have a sense of who you are and what you like and what you don't like.
And talking about the chance to, have some trips and visit new places since you're overseas. This season you're playing for Ratio Farm Mule. Mm-hmm. You guys are playing in the German League and also in the Euro Cup.
For sure.
Before, getting into your current season and the insights, but you had the chance to visit European cities. You've been to London. You've been to how it's like.
Man, it was beautiful, man. It was really beautiful. I would say that was one of my favorite parts of the season, is just being able to travel and see all these new spots. Going to Istanbul for the first time and going to London for the first time, and really seeing these major cities and see how they're living without having to use my FIBA break to wait and game plan and try to see all different countries in within a week span. So I was able to at least get a sample size of what's going on, and it was truly amazing, man. I mean, experiencing those cultures, seeing those major cities, seeing what they have to offer, seeing just how great the world is outside of just the country that I'm playing in, but just outside of the States. It was really nice, and then being able to play against European competition, keeping everything fresh and new, experiencing different talents and different schemes and tendencies that you kind of just get. It kind of gives you a sneak peek if you were to go to a different country and say you play in a different domestic league, you kind of like have an idea like, okay, maybe in the Turkish league it's a lot more physical and big man style, or if you go to Spain, it's like, okay, it's a lot more leaner guards and it's fast paced in the running. Like you just really get a different sense of it because you're experiencing so much in such a little time.
And you had the chance to see like the different crowds. You know, being in Istanbul, I think it's been like one of the craziest crowd. So you get a sense of what you can expect, going there and playing against their team. So can you like get us back to the beginning of the season? How did you feel when you started this season and how it's been so far?
Yeah, the beginning of the season, I mean, like everything, very optimistic. Saying it's just excited about the unknown, anxious to see what was going to happen. Not only just how I'm going to perform, but just how the team is going to perform and how everything's going to play out. And so, obviously we started off very hot. We won the first 5 games, and then we hit a little wall because it was a lot of traveling, it was a lot of playing. Me personally, it was my first year playing Euro Cup. And then there was a couple other guys first years playing Euro Cup as well. So I feel like everybody was kind of learning as the season was going on, learning how to take care of their bodies, learning just load management, learning different routines on what works for them and how can they keep their sanity, keep their body at peak physical shape. It just was a lot of learning, and what learning comes with some ups and downs. And so we eventually went up, and then we went down, and then we went up again, then we went down. And so it's just like a trade-off of just like 5 wins, 5 losses, 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses. And we were just going up and down and just learning and everything. But I think we're at a really good spot right now where we're just, we got the right pieces, we got the right mentality, we got the right amount of discipline. Right now, we're one of the hotter teams in Germany. We're rolling, trying to get to the top spot in the BBL right now, and we're just taking it one game at a time. I feel like that's the best thing that we're doing now. We're not trying to get ahead and kind of have these expectations now. Like right now, we realize that it's going to be what it's going to be. We're going to get in what we put out. I mean, we're going to get out what we put in, and so. I feel like everybody's kind of locked in to the point where like you just know what to expect from people. And so not everybody's buying into the role of what they need to do. Maybe there may be some guys that need to do a little more when guys who expect to do more end up doing a little less. And that's just how it is. And so, we're getting to the point where we're on the back end where we're now fighting for like I won't say fighting for a playoff spot because we're well within our playoff spot, but trying to get that home court advantage as far as the playoff spot. So again, though, not thinking too far ahead, just taking it one game at a time, and then when the season's over and we cross that finish line, we get to see where we placed at. So that's just where we're at. I'm happy where we're at. I know we have more to give. I know we got more to accomplish, and excited, anxious, but still not thinking too far ahead. Just being where our feet are right now.
And talking about what's left to accomplish, we are here in Mannheim, Germany. And next to a city called Heidelberg.
Yes, sir.
You guys having a game tomorrow. So it's a crucial game to get back into that top 3 spot.
For sure.
How is your mindset, going to that game, and what you're looking to like do on the court tomorrow?
Mentally, I'm going into it like how I go into every game. Obviously, being well prepared with the scouting report, knowing the schemes, the tendencies of not just the team, but just the players as well. But then one thing I like to do most of the times is like, I feel like I play better when I have no expectations. I feel like me personally, when I go into a game expecting things, then I'm already putting pressure on myself to perform a certain way, to reach a certain goal. And then even though I could have maybe even exceeded that goal without expectations, it seems like more of a tedious and strenuous task to just get to that goal because I already told myself, man, I got to get this number, I got to get this, I got to do this, I got to do that. Now it seems way harder that if I was just to naturally go into it, I would have did it anyways off of just instinct. So me going into this game, obviously prepared with the X's and O's, but just waiting for the game, really. Just trying to take care of my mental and my physical, and then just allowing my instincts and my natural game IQ just to kind of just take over at that point, putting my brain in autopilot and just letting my body do what it knows to do and what it's trained to do, what it's practiced all week to do. And then just going out there and just letting it happen, you know what I'm saying? And then living with the result, knowing that I'm just giving my best. And I came in with the best expectations, not as far as numbers, but just knowing that, like, I have a positive mindset going in, but a clear mindset when it comes to just doing things on the court. So it'll be a fun game. Heidelberg is a good team, got good players, good coaching staff. They've always been good for some years. And, we're expecting a fight just like every other game. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited to play basketball for real.
Do you have like specific players you're going to look out during the game on the Heidelberg side?
You said specific players?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they kind of have a really good balanced team when it comes to, like, guards and bigs. You always got Weathers. He kind of did his bad last game. He had a really good game and ended up in the last second shot to beat us. So you always got to watch out for him. You got DJ Horn. You got Mike Sell. Like, these are all really good players. You got Kessens, their big man. Like, they're just a really well-rounded team. They played together for some time too, so they also have that chemistry as well. So it's like they're one of those teams where it's like anybody could really hurt you, but you want to be able to kind of like contain the guys who are known for being the bigger contributors to the team, and then just seeing how things play out, and then just playing on the fly and picking up what's going on and trying to just stop things as the game goes on. So. Again, there's specific players we can name, but at the end of the day, anybody could really hurt you. So
you gotta be ready for whoever.
Yeah, gotta be ready for whatever. You gotta be ready for whatever, because you can expect one guy and then a whole another person come through and has a career game on you. You just gotta be ready, toes ready, head on the swivel, and just ready to fly around. So that's the exciting part about it, though. So that's what we signed up for.
Yeah. Obviously, if we're here today talking to each other, it's because last summer you've been in the Elite Nation squad.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how, what are the things that made you, joining the squad and come and compete in this tournament?
Oh, man. So I've always kind of wanted to play in the TBT. Never just really had a team, really. And, I played with Desi Washington. We played in Greece. My second year at Apollon Patras. And so we had some chemistry from there. And so, he reached out to me and was asking, did I want to play in the TBT? And I thought, I was like, well, I already know you and I've always wanted to play. I'm like, why not, man? Let's go ahead and do it.
That's the best combo.
It was the best combo. So I was just like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And so, trusting him, and I had to trust him anyway as my point guard in my second year with my money. So it's like, why not trust him while trying to make some money as well? So it's like, it was a nice little opportunity to come through and play. I was obviously honored and grateful that, he thought that I would be a nice contributor to the team and could add some value to the team, because we have a lot of good basketball players on this planet. So I was just thankful for that opportunity. And then he just kind of filled me in on all the details and what will be happening and all that. And so one thing led to another, and then we ended up
Charleston.
Ended up in Charleston on Elite Nation, rocking the blue. So it was a very fun experience. Yeah, great group of guys.
Yeah, what was the vibe of the guys and the whole tournament vibe? How did you like it?
I enjoyed it. At first, it was you kind of like the standard, kind of trying to feel the vibe out, especially when you play on a team where they like to call you like a mercenary team, where it's a whole bunch of guys who have played overseas and they're all just kind of put together on one team. Like with a team like with teams like that, the talent is never the issue. Yep. It's always about the chemistry, sure. And so it was just really kind of getting a feel for, the personalities on the team and seeing like which personalities mesh with which. And, then now you got that going on top of trying to figure out, okay, which talents worked well together on the court at certain points to have a first group and a second group and maybe a potential third group as well. So, just getting that vibe early, playing when we had practice and everything, you seen that like a lot of people knew each other, and It was a lot of smiles and laughs going on amongst just the coaching staff and the players. So, it felt very lighthearted. Even though you didn't know everybody, you got a warm kind of like feeling that like, okay, that it shouldn't be hard to get to know these people. And so, and it wasn't, a lot of the days where we practiced and we went out, we ate, we walked around the city, you know what I'm saying, and got food together on the side as well from the team. It was real easy. It was a really easy transition. And then you could see the translation when we got on the court that like, it was kind of seamless. It was like, okay, I remember the announcer saying one of those, he said, we're a team that could lose today or win it all. Yeah. I remember him saying that from the game.
Yeah, the speaker during the game.
The announcer during the game. And so I was like, man, that is so true. Like we had an abundance of talent, like clearly enough talent to win it all. But the thing is like, you throw a team like that together with such little time, it's always going to be the chemistry. Like you can have a whole bunch of superstars, but if they all can't figure out how to play together at the right time, then I mean it's easy to. I'm not gonna say it's easy to beat them, but it's possible to beat them, which we kind of showed. But like again, I feel like with that type of team, say we were to run it back with the same exact team, we're going a lot further than we were. So just having that familiarity and having that camaraderie would just be our only missing piece. Everything else we have.
Yeah, for sure. You had a great moment during that first game because we had a great run in the first half and especially in the third quarter, and we kind of let it slip a little bit. Yeah, and we we almost lost it. Yeah. But you had like a great moment. Can you like remind us how it was and from your point of view, how did you feel at that moment?
I felt like the moment of hitting the game-winning shot was a very it was a very exciting moment for sure. Definitely one of my more exciting, if not the most exciting moment of my summer. It was just walking through that. Clearly we were rolling and it was looking like we might blow them out. And then, they started getting some momentum, especially with them having a nice fan base. Because another thing with being a mercenary team, you're not going to have a fan base, sure. Especially going against an alumni team. And so they started feeding off that momentum. Game got very, very close. And then, if it came down to us, Desi set us up with a nice charge that he ended up taking on one end. And then, we put the ball in the hands of one of our best scorers. Me personally, I'm just like, okay, I'm expecting for him to hit the shot, but in the case that he doesn't, I'm gonna be ready to either give us another opportunity, whether it's me getting the rebound and kicking it out, or whether it's me getting the rebound and scoring the basket myself. And so as I'm just, getting in position to rebound, because I feel like everybody in the gym knew who was gonna take that shot. And so just getting in that position, AJ had created some space, got up a shot. I saw that the ball was tipped, but I think everybody else was just kind of just running, just trying to box everybody out. And then in the moment when I saw that the ball was like falling short, I'm like, yeah, I can go get this. I can go get this. And so I went up to go get it. And then my first instinct was like, oh man, let's kick it out and get a good shot. But then as I'm catching it and I'm coming down, I'm like, I'm right here though. Like, so let's just put it back. Let's just see what's gonna happen. So, I catch it. I'm thinking in my head, eventually, like, they're probably gonna jump me. I'm probably gonna have like 3 people jumping to contest this. And so let me just get them up in the air. If I get them up in the air, bada boom, bada bing, somebody might be open. This as the game-winning assist is as good to me as the game-winning shot. So go up. I only see one guy go up. I was like, I think I can power through this. And so I go up, smacks me on the arm as hard as he could, because it definitely was a lot of force. You could see that the arm was like coming down, but I still was able to kind of push it through, flick with a little left hand, little miking drill that we all like to work on. And boom, I was like, okay. Off the glass game, no need for no free throws, no need for no redo. This is it right there.
And the craziest thing is that you told the guys that you're going to get it.
Right? I told them that. That is the wildest part about it. If you can hear on the video, I said, I told you I was gonna get it. I told you I was gonna get it. Because in the timeout, I was like, dang, they're gonna crash AJ a lot. I said, I'm gonna go get this rebound. And they were telling me, when he shoots it, just go back on defense. I said, go back? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it if it come off the rim. And then it was like, well, if you're gonna get it, go get it. I said, I'm gonna go get it. Watch, I'm gonna go get it. And then boom, when it happened, I just immediately turned to the camera and I'm like telling the cameraman as if he was in the huddle. And I'm like, I told you. I was like, wait a minute, this is not the guy I talked to. And then I turned around and then I was like, I told you, I was gonna get it. I told you. And so then it was just such a funny but fun moment, because it was like, of course we all had fun and we loved winning. But at the same time, it just was like, how things kind of lined up, and from coming from the huddle to the game, and then, just having the opportunity to have that good vibe that we had created continue for another few days, what I'm saying? We can really just enjoy the company of each other. That was the part that I felt like was more valuable than anything, just a bunch of guys coming together in a moment and being able to celebrate a common goal together, And so I think that was the best part about it. I mean, everything else was what it was, but I just was, I was glad to not only just show my worth, but also be able to play to live for another game. And so, that was the moment for me that really made it the summer special for me. It was.
And speaking of that game, that game 2, I felt like, we kind of played the same way and had like a great run during the first 3 quarters. And just like the first game, we had a little bit, we let it slip a little bit. And I think that we kind of, let the external things get through our mind.
For sure.
The referees,
for sure.
the bad calls. Because I think in game 2 you had one of the worst, the worst foul of the game.
Man.
When you're going for that two-handed dunk.
The dunk, and then he just completely just grabbed my arm, and I felt like I had caught, and I knew they warned me. They said the refs were going to be bad, but then that one was just so obvious that I was just like, no.
We heard like the slap during the whole
you heard
arena.
the slap, and I just was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I don't want to accuse anybody of cheating, but man, this is pretty close. I said, man, this is pretty close, man. And so I just remember talking to that ref too, because I have respect for all refs. I understand it's a very tough job to do. I understand that it comes with a lot of animosity. It comes with a lot of, expectations, pressure, and all that. So I don't want to add to that, because I know games get intense. I know, if I'm able to miss a coverage or a defensive assignment, it's easy for y'all to also miss a call. You're not gonna get every call. But yeah, that one was just like, man, that was just like me. That missed call was equivalent to just letting somebody just walk right in front of me and just catch the ball and lay it up. Like, I just felt like it was just so obvious. And he told me, like, just finish the play. And I was just like, I wanted to get mad. I wanted to get so mad. But then a part of me was like, you know what? This is a learning experience to know what to expect from the TBT. Like, it is an official league, but it's not like a professional league. You're not going to have professional refs doing this all the time. You may have some sprinkled in, but just like, like a mercenary team, you'll have some professional players, or maybe like a alumni team. You have some professional players, but maybe some people they didn't stop playing basketball and they're just coming through and, they just want to be part of the vibe. So it's like, when that happened, I was like, okay, next year I know what to expect. Obviously you come from this professional mindset. You coming from, playing from wherever you are overseas. You know you can get that call. Yeah. You know you can get that call. And to not get that call, it's like, okay, official league, professional league, 2 different things. Don't confuse the 2. And so that was my learning experience from the TBT. And so, yeah, I may have let it bother me a little bit, but like, besides my call, there were numerous other calls that were missed, just to say the least. And you can tell that it really bothered us. It affected us. And I mean, for us to not know, because I know, again, the mercenary team, we've all played on professional floors, and we've been on away games and know that away games, the hometown team is going to get the favor a lot. So it's like it's shame on us for not knowing that, and for us to seek refuge and assistance from being in enemy territory, So it's like we know better. So I feel like we'll do better the next time around. So, again, all a learning experience. But yeah, a game that we definitely had the opportunity to win. And yeah, we just let a lot of things. We let one thing lead to another. We had some technicals. We had some feelings causing to missed assignments on defense and bad shots on offense. And it was kind of sad to see things fall apart like that, because we knew we were better than that. We knew we were so much more capable of doing things the right way, and we just got caught up in the wrong things and did it the wrong way. But again, not only a learning experience for me, but I'm pretty sure a learning experience for a whole bunch of other guys. It happens.
And so obviously, the game 2 ended with a loss, and it's like you said, it's pretty bad because we had the right group to do better things.
Yeah.
But as you said, it's a learning experience, and so one of the questions I had in my mind is, are you looking to like run it back next year and maybe like going further, like you said?
No, for sure. Definitely want to take another shot at it, especially, the cash prize is what it is. It is what it is, and we're not going to act like the cash prize is not a motive. Okay?
Let's keep the main thing the main thing.
Let's keep the main thing the main thing, okay? Let's not act crazy here. But no, just being around those guys again and being, for a mercenary team to have the type of chemistry, I feel like it's special. I feel like it really is special. And I feel like that if us getting that main piece, that component down, then, a lot of things will be possible for us. Not just the money, but then, just us working on our game, working on, just deepening our relationships with each other. Because you never know in this overseas world what might happen. I believe some guys on that team are playing on the same teams right now. You just never know.
Yeah.
So it's like making that connection over in the TBT, and then you never know, stumbling across a fellow teammate and a teammate that turned friend, and then having another friend on another team. Yeah. It completely changes your overseas experience.
Yeah, and talking about that, that I saw that tomorrow you're playing against DJ Horn and Ryan Maxwell, and then both of them guys, already played in the TBT, so you can you could have been, against them during that tournament. So you never know who you're going playing against.
Have no clue. That's why you can never count it out. I mean, it could be, there's millions and millions of basketball players in this world, but for some reason the basketball world is so small.
Yeah.
It's so
feels
small.
Like it.
It feels like if you know one person, that one person can connect you to 10 other people that you didn't know that they knew. And so that's just why you just gotta really just treat the game with respect, Appreciate what you got going on. Don't disrespect people, don't disrespect the game. Unless provoked, then at that point your business is your business. I'm not going to say just take any type of treatment from people now, because I understand how this game can get. It can get intense, it can get competitive and everything like that, and long lines could be crossed. But I'm just saying, if unprovoked, like just treat the game with respect and just go ahead and just play basketball. There's a lot of people out there that wish that they could still play it, still trying to play it, and may not have much success. But like, just for us to have this opportunity to not only play it, but get paid to do it and also see the world as well. When you put that in perspective, some of the things that you may be going through may not seem as bad, but you start to really approach the game with a different perspective that really, allows you to be at your best and push through some adversity that's going to come your way, because I'm not going to say it's not. There's always going to be adversity that comes your way. If it's not your first year and third year, it could be your 5th year, your 8th year, your 10th year, God willing. You never know how long you play, but there's going to be some adversity. And if you put that in perspective of what you're doing, and at the end of the day, like what you could be doing if you weren't doing that, it changes a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. Can you share what are your the key moments that shaped you as a human being, but also as a professional basketball player? If you can recall specific moments when something clicked in your mind and you became a better version of yourself.
I would say one of the most, if not the most defining moment in my career was probably when I got cut in high school, my junior year. It was a very traumatic experience for me personally, because, I've pretty much made every team that I've tried out for, shout out to my parents. I was very athletically gifted with a lot of things, with a lot of tools. So, when I didn't make it my junior year, it was a very humbling experience. And I think it put a different type of battery in my back when I was in that off season, because it just was like, it hurt so bad that I was like, I don't ever want this.
Feel this.
I don't want to feel this pain ever again, And so I think that entire year, like, I didn't go to no basketball games. I didn't even want to hear about what the basketball team was doing. Like, when it came down to it, I would go to school, and then I would go to like my local gym, and I work out for hours. And then I work on my body. I work on my stamina, my conditioning. I actually worked with the overseas basketball player. He had played in Israel at one point. And he was just putting me through his workouts. And boy, I was dying the first month. Oh my God, I was dying. Like, I remember being on this row machine, and I'm just like rowing. Like, the duration of how I was rowing, I felt like I could have went through the damn Atlantic Ocean. I was like, damn, like, I'm still rowing. And he would just come through and then just look and be like, keep rowing. And I'm just like, I don't know if I got this. I said, if this is what it takes. I said, damn. So I just kept going. I stayed with it, because the pain that I was going through at that moment had no comparison to the pain I felt when I got cut. No comparison. So I was like, if I can get through this to not feel like this again, I'm gonna do it. And so I went through just a serious, vicious, I guess you can call it off season. It was technically off season for me because I wasn't in any season, and I was just in the gym working constantly on my skills and on my body. And then also, fortunately, I got a growth spurt. So, shout out to God, he hooked me up too. So that was a very defining moment, because it made me realize that, like, things aren't going to be given to me. Just because of what I did before doesn't mean that I'm expected or entitled to things that are ahead of me. And so that was a very humbling experience for me. Very defining moment. A lot of people who are very close to me know about that moment. And then I would say another defining moment probably would be my first year overseas. I feel like that was a very defining increase, yeah. Because it was like, now it was like I'm in a different world. Everything that I thought I knew before had no direct translation to what was going on. In the States, you really kind of have a lot more power as a player. You got a lot more say so. The coach is like, how do you feel? What do you think? And so you're just kind of like, man, well, this kind of doesn't work for me, and this works for me, and they're like, okay, well, I'll talk to the coaches and we'll figure it out. Right? Come on overseas. It don't matter what worked for you. It's about what works for them. And so at that point, I started to have a reality check that, like, okay, now I know who's in charge over here. Yeah. Now I know, like, if things are being said to be done over here, you got to get it done. And that year I saw people getting cut and all this other stuff and not getting paid, and just seeing how the business was working. And so, and just seeing just how far coaches can take, their authority, and how they can use it in ways that can be in their benefit, whether it is in your benefit or not in your benefit. I got to see it all. I got to see it done to people. I got to see it be done to me. And so then that's when I started to have a real conversation with myself, and was like, okay, this is what's going on. Do you think you can handle this? And so as I'm going through my first year, I'm hearing people like literally quit. I think I had 2 friends on the team at the time, my first year, 2 friends. And one ended up getting cut, and I knew he was a great basketball player. He was a great college basketball player. They both were. One got cut, but he ended up all right. And another one ended up having a mutual separation, but then just the things that were going on overseas, he ended up quitting basketball entirely. He became a coach, which, he's still staying in the realm of basketball, but he ended up quitting basketball entirely. And I'm just like, man, like, this dude's a great player. Like, he quit basketball.
You start thinking about something.
Yeah, you just really just be like, this is breaking people out here. Like, this really breaks people out here. And so I fortunately, and I'm so glad I did, I endured my first year. I endured it, you know. I endured all the ups and downs that came with it. And I think mentally I came to terms with what was happening. It was just like, man, let's just get through this and see what happens coming the summer.
Yeah.
If in summer, if I still want to do this, then we rocking. And if I don't want to do this, then I'm still young enough to be able to start another career and take off with it. And so I decided to stay with it. And then luckily at that point, when my second year came around and things were still coming through and they were rough, I was like, okay, it can't be as rough as I felt my first year. It can't be that bad. And still to this day, there's been times where things have came close to being as rough as my first year. And there were some moments that may have been a little rougher, but I'm thankful for the moments that were even rougher than my first year, because it was like, okay, I thought it couldn't get worse. It got worse, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
So now that I'm still here, now I feel like, what can really break me at this point? What can you really say to me that really is going to get under my skin to the point where I feel like I don't want to play no more? Because I done heard it all. I done heard it all at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like you really, like, if you really say something that really hurts me, I might stand up and give you a standing ovation. I might clap for you, because I was like, wow, that was very impressive. You really hurt my feelings with that one. I haven't hurt that one yet. You really hurt my feelings with that one. I didn't think anybody could do that. You hurt my feelings with that. I got to give it up to you for that one. But like, until that moment, then it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna put one foot in front of the other, and we're gonna keep on balling. We're gonna keep hooping. We're gonna keep pursuing this career. We're gonna keep getting this money. We're gonna keep trying to make something happen.
That's the thing, man.
So I would say, yeah, those two things. The first defining moment got me to get in position to become a great collegiate player and a professional. And the second defining moment got me to become a better professional player and just know how to carry myself and know what to expect, and, you know, kind of just prep other people, you know, young guys on my team or young guys who's trying to become professional players. I, you know, help them out too, and let them know, hey, man.
And getting into that right mental
state, knowing that, like, if you're gonna come over here and you want to play this basketball, you want to make some big money, you're gonna run into this stuff. And all I can tell you right now is that, boy, this will show you how much you love basketball. Do you love because if you don't love basketball,
you gotta suffer a little bit.
You're not gonna make it. I'm gonna just be 100 with you. Like, I could rock with you every which way, but like, if you don't love basketball, you're not gonna make it to the point that you think you are, because it's not easy.
Just like you said, it breaks some people.
It breaks people. It separates the contenders from the pretenders. Like, and this is real. And you'll see a lot of players. And I know all my overseas guys can relate to that. You know, who've played on every level, especially the higher levels. They can tell you, like, a lot of those players that are up on the higher levels, they done seen it, they done heard it all before, and they had to go through that to get the respect to where they are now. So now, you know, they don't go through it either as much or they don't go through it at all because they know where they came from. Yeah. You know, so I would say those are my two key defining moments. Not to say that there won't be any other defining moments coming forward, but those are the ones so far. So, you know, we'll keep on rolling with that. And like I said, if somebody says something or does something where I feel like, wow, you almost made me question my career, you will see me stand up and give them an ovation. Congratulations, bro. You reached a new level with me. Hey, you got me. I got to give it up to you. You got me with that one. But yeah. That's it so far.
I mean, so far so good.
So far so good.
Everything's going pretty good right now for you this season.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier, but you guys are, you know, in a good spot to end up in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And you're right now trying to get the sweet spot. You know, the sweet home advantage.
For sure.
What's next for you right now? How are you looking to that, you know, last part of the season, going to the playoffs and trying to, you know, bring something for the team?
I mean, I feel like I'm just kind of embracing, you know, who I am as a player. Like, I feel like I've always, and I feel like if you can go back to previous interviews and when I was in college, I always felt like I would say, I'm like, people would call it a glue guy, but I would just say, like, I'm a whatever guy for real. Like, I feel like I just do things that, like, whatever the team needs at the time, that I can do that for them, whether it be defense, whether it be rebounding, whether it be scoring. Like,
I mean, you can do it all. You saw you like you can rebound, you can you can shoot, you can dunk.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like that's always been my calling card as far as a player. It's just, really banking on my versatility. And so being able to be that versatile, not only does it get me on the court, but it allows me to do things on the court that, like, some people just can't do it. And so that's just kind of like what my focus is going forward with our team, because, we very much can get caught up in the numbers and wanting to score and wanting to do a lot of rebounds or assists or even make flashy plays. But at the end of the day, one thing about my first year being overseas, I noticed is that people respect winning.
Yeah.
They respect winning. No matter what your numbers are, you have to win. You can average. There's been times where I averaged 14, 15, but my team wasn't doing well, and I got to step up, but I didn't get up to the step that I thought I was gonna get, And then I've seen other players who averaged half or maybe even a third of what I averaged, but they won. They won trophies.
Yeah.
They won rings. They won conferences.
That's the things we remember.
That's the things that people remember. It's the things that people put on the wall. Like, these were the winners. These were the guys that got this trophy in this case or got this ring on the wall or reason why you heard about us. These are the guys. And so those guys are immortalized. Those are things that get put on your resume. And at the end of the day, for me, I feel like I want to be part of a group like that. I want to be part of a group of a team where it's like, no matter whenever I decide to retire or whatever I do in my career, they look at me and they be like, yeah, he was one of those guys that helped us win this. He contributed, he did his part. And so no matter what the numbers look like with that, I just want him to have that impact and also just have that experience to be able to hold up that number one, have a trophy, come back home and have something to show for being overseas for however long I've been, and then just keep stacking it at that point. So that's the mental frame that I'm in right now. And we're close. We're capable and we're close.
Yeah, hopefully you guys, end up in that spot you're aiming for. So
for sure. That is the goal. That is the tunnel vision. You know how like that James Bond intro be, where it's got that small circle and you see that little peak and you see James Bond. That's the trophy right there. And I'm just looking through that. Like, there's nothing else besides that matters. It's just that trophy, that legacy, and being something special, being a special team. So that's where we're at.
Malik, thank you very much.
For sure.
It's been, inspiring, getting to know you and your background and every, personal things you share with us. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Wishing you all the best, and hopefully we can, catch you next time.
For sure.
Thank you, man.
My dog, man. And we're out.